from the Morning Wake Up Crew, and we're here today to learn how to use a snowmobile. This is exciting. Never done this before, so I'm looking forward to this. We're here with Randy. How's it going?
Doing awesome. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, so we're going to cover a bit of the safety things about snowmobiling, about the actual sport of snowmobiling, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the machine that you're going to ride, and give you a little bit of the training on how the machine works, so that when you get out there, you're able to keep up with John. First thing I want to talk about is just some basic snowmobiling things. The biggest thing that you can do before you go snowmobiling is be prepared. If you got to let people know where you're going. So, because things happen, machines break, you can get into a collision or something like that, and people have to know where you are. If they don't know where you are, they're never going to come find you.
Right. So send out a text or a phone call and let at least one person know where you're going.
This is the route we're going. If we're not back by this and this time,
then you know what's up.
Yeah, we're not coming back.
Okay.
The next thing is make sure your machine's ready. Go through and make sure that your machine is serviced. I mean, you're getting the luxury of driving a brand new machine, so hopefully everything is perfect on it. But you want to make sure that your machine is ready to go, that you don't have something that's going to break on you. Do a visual inspection. All the manufacturers in their manuals say this is your pre-ride inspection.
Okay.
So if you go through that, that'll definitely help you out. You want to make sure you have your route plan, so that when you do go out, you're not getting lost. And you also want to make sure you take a bunch of stuff with you that'll help you in case something does go wrong. You want to take, spare parts. Belts on the sleds can break, spark plugs can foul. If you have that stuff with you, if something goes wrong, you have the option to get back on the trail.
Whereabouts would you suggest that we put this stuff?
Well, this particular machine has a spot for some of the
extras?
Some of the extras underneath here.
Perfect.
So you got a room for a spare belt, for some spare plugs. It's got some basic tools to change those spark plugs. The other thing while we're here is make sure that you've got enough oil. This is a two-stroke machine, so it injects oil, so if you don't have oil, it's not going to go very far, so we filled this one right up for you. The other thing that you need to look at is make sure you have the right gear. So you've got a helmet.
Yep, helmet check.
You got to make sure you have warm stuff for the different conditions, right? If you're going to head on a day when it's -30, make sure you have clothing that's going to last for -30.
Okay.
If you're heading out, on a day where you've got lots of slush on the lakes, if you're doing some ice fishing, head out. Make sure you have gear that's going to be waterproof or water resistant, so that you're not going to end up wet. Because as soon as you get wet, you're going to get really cold.
Okay. So gear up appropriately.
Gear up appropriately. Make sure you have the proper gear.
Okay.
When you're on the trails, stay on the trails. There's lots of places where you can get off the trails and go play and have some fun, but when you're on the trail, stay on the trail, because other riders are going to expect you to be there.
Right.
Ride on the right side of the trail. I mean, these trails are wide like a road, but it's a lot of time tempting. You see guys all over back and forth on the trails. If you stay on the right side of the trail and like somebody else comes around the corner, less chance that there's going to be a collision. Limit your speed. We were talking about it before we got on the camera here. You said you're going to go real slow, but these machines go real fast.
They do, eh?
And
I'm a bit worried about that.
It's going to be tempting to just grab a handful of throttle and go fast. And understanding that you have a lot of speed at your disposal here will make sure that you sort of respect it.
Right.
Last thing I wanted to mention about the safety is one of the things I'm involved here is the Thunder Bay Save Committee, which is Snowmobile ATV Vessel Education. And on that committee there's OPP, MNR, the Thunder Bay Police, Thunder Bay Fire, a lot of organizations involved in trying to send out messages on how to be safe. The Thunder Bay Health Unit has a section on their website dedicated to that, and most of the snowmobile information that I've mentioned today can be found on that site, along with a whole bunch more stuff. Okay, we're at the sled here, Jen. Let's teach you how to ride.
Okay, let's do it.
So the sled that we've got here does have electric start.
Okay.
But most of the sleds also have a rope start. So if the electric start ever wasn't working, you can still start the machine.
Okay.
So to start the machine, they've got a kill switch.
So like a safety switch?
Yeah, it's a safety switch. And the idea of this is, if you ever got into a dangerous situation where you wanted to turn the sled off, it's harder to reach up here and find a key.
Okay.
You just hit even if you're falling off,
right,
you can kill the machine.
Okay.
So they have that. and then they also have the key. So in this case, you would just start it up.
Listen to that.
So like I was saying, to turn it off, hit the button, and it's gonna turn off. So the real obvious stuff on the sled is, this is your throttle. It's like your gas pedal on your car.
Okay.
This is your brake on this side. You got no foot controls.
Okay.
So
Brakes on the left, throttles on the right.
yeah, this is the go, this is the stop.
Okay.
Obviously, if you're falling off the machine, you no longer have control of your steering or your brake or your gas. That's why if you can think about it, hit it off when you're going. If you do fall off, that's the idea of it. So the other key with the machines is just balance, because a lot of your riding, you're balancing the machine as part of your steering.
Okay.
Sort of like riding a bicycle or a motorcycle. You can really lean into a corner or lean away from something if the machine feels like it's gonna tip.
Okay.
You've got a gauge on there which has got your speedometer on there, so you can see how fast you're going. A lot of the trails, like if you're on the Thunder Bay Adventure trails, they do have a speed limit on the trail, so you got to follow their rules and regulations as well. There's not a whole lot more to riding the machine. On the machine here, you've got hand and thumb warmers. If you're out on a cold day,
That's a bonus.
The grips will actually heat right up.
Perfect.
So you can set those on low or high.
Okay.
The machine also does have reverse. So if you do get a little far into a corner or there's somewhere where you have to back up, you can hit the button. It actually shuts the machine off, puts it in reverse, starts it back up, and then you can back up.
Do all machines have reverse? Or?
No, most
Okay.
machines now do, but it's not all of them.
Okay.
The other thing to keep in mind is if you get stuck, you probably can't lift this machine.
Probably not, no.
So one of the things with getting stuck is just sort of planning it out. And the easiest way to do it is to make sure that there's a space ahead of you to try and that you're going to actually pack the snow.
Okay.
So either if you're in really deep snow, rolling around on the snow in front of your machine, or just stamping it down. One of the things I found on a website I was looking at is make sure when you are stuck, don't try and give her too quick. Because if you try and really quickly get her out, you're going to wear yourself out, and now you're going to end up worse off because now you have no energy left.
Okay. So I'm assuming we need one of these.
You need a helmet.
Yeah.
You need to make sure it's done up properly.
Okay.
So, are you comfortable doing up the helmet?
Not quite.
So, yeah, that's got to slip through there, and then it's got to loop around and go back through them and cinch up. All right, so Jen's got her helmet on. She's ready to go for a ride. Let's see if what she learned. Safety switch on. Oh, it's got to go up to be on. And now turn the key and fire her up.
Thank you so much. This is very informative. And follow the safety rules, you guys.
Right on. We'll see you on the trail.